Hey friends, my name is Jake. Welcome to Canadian Cutting Edge. This is a Canadian tire knife, so you can only get these things in Canada. This is the Yukon Gear EDC wood-handled Linerlock knife. That's the name of it. I'll leave the Canadian Tire product code down below. You probably saw it on the screen too, and the link to the page to get this if you want to see this. It's not at all Canadian Tires. It wasn't at my local Canadian Tire store. One of my viewers told me about this knife in BC, and he bought it and he mailed it to me. It was on for about $8 Canadian, and then it cost another $5 Canadian to send it to me. That's pretty much all this thing's worth, in my opinion. But it's better than a number of Canadian Tire knives that I reviewed, so I'm going to give you a video about this. It's not technically a full review the way I normally do all my full reviews, partly because only Canadians have a shot of getting this, and because it's not that great. We've got a blade that's over 3 inches, almost 3.5 inches, a little bit shy, almost 9 centimeters, and it's a Linerlock, and it actually works. I've added this thumb stud thingy, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's get to the tabletop and take a good look at it. I'm going to let you know right off the top that I'm not going to do a teardown video of this because I've done that to some cheap Canadian Tire knives. Yukon Gear is a Canadian Tire brand. And the screws are so bad, so soft, and sometimes they've got Loctite in them. The heads just get stripped out. It's not a good idea to take these Canadian Tire cheap knives apart. The Yukon Gear ones or the Outbound ones, or even the Hunt Shield one. The Hunt Shield ones are better. If there's a classification of all three of those brands are Canadian Tire brands, the Hunt Shield ones are the best of the bunch. And some of them are actually okay. Some of them are knives that I would recommend. But Yukon Gear and Outbound, I don't recommend them. Some of them are okay, but not good. Now, this is a nail nick knife. We've got a nail nick right there. It's a Linerlock. Now, lockup is not too bad on this. It's not too late. The handle scales are the same on both sides, so there's not a cutaway here for you to get at the Linerlock. They just made the blade come out, the liner come out further, so that you can get your thumb at it. Now, it's got a crisp edge there, so it's annoying to do that. If you're going to try to play with this knife, your thumb's not going to like it. But functionally, it works. Lockup is solid up and down. There's some blade play side to side. And I played with this for about 20 minutes, and the pivot came loose. So that's one screw that maybe you can take out. Maybe you can use some, VibraTite VC3 Threadmate to keep that screw from coming loose. Or if you want to use actual Loctite thread locker, you can use that too. I like VC3 Threadmate because it's not a it's not a thread locker, but it does keep screws in. It just means you can take the screws out when you want to. But, it's fairly decent. Like the thickness of this, I did measure that. 2.72 millimeters, that's 0.107, so just over 1/10 of an inch. A drop point with a swedge, hollow grind. Oh, I wanted to measure how thick it was behind the grind. I'll be right back. 23.5 thousandths of an inch thick. And 23.5 thousandths is 0.6 millimeters. 0.6 millimeters, 23.5 thousandths to start with. So it's not stupid thick. It's thicker than I like to start with, but it's not stupid thick. And with the hollow grind, you'll be able to sharpen it a few times before it starts getting very thick. Yeah. There's no real sharpener's choil in here. There is a little bit of a concave cutaway here, but it's not past the plunge. So, yeah. Grind angles on this thing are not good, but you can resharpen this. 420 HC, that's the stuff that Buck likes to use a lot. I guarantee you they don't have the heat treatment that Buck has. This thing's probably at around 55, maybe 56 Rockwell hardness, which is not stupid bad, but, it's not going to be a durable edge. But it's a whole lot better than a lot of steels that I've seen on some knives from Canadian Tire. The wood on here, I think this is either a zebra wood or a tiger wood or something similar. It's probably some Chinese wood that I'm just not familiar with. I was into woodworking, for a lot of years. I took all the woodworking courses in school. I became an apprentice in cabinet making when I was a young man, that is. I know a bit of wood, and I had a wood hobby for a lot of years. I still do some wood stuff, but I think that's probably a zebra wood. Or it's not true tiger wood, but I don't think it's really true zebra wood either. But it's something like that, where you've got really dark sections on the grain. And then you've got this purple wood here. This is not Purple Heart. I can tell you that, because Purple Heart doesn't have these black grain lines in it. And let me see. Yeah, these grain lines look pretty much even, which means they are layers of wood that have been glued together. When you see a lot of Canadian Tire wood, they say they've got Paca wood handles. Paca wood is manufactured wood. It's a bunch of veneers of wood glued together or epoxied together, and it's pretty strong and durable. Seems to me this is Paca wood, and so it's going to be durable. Got a big lanyard hole at the back here, and 2 pins here for open pillar construction. So you'll have to take these wood handles off before you can get at those. I just wouldn't take this knife apart. I just wouldn't. I bought these, and I've got a video about these thumb studs that are attachable. Well, it's not quite good enough. With a wrist flick, it works. I've got a video about these. I bought them for like $1 a piece on AliExpress. And I'll have some links to the video about these, but I'll put links to where you can buy these from AliExpress. It really helps turn it into a one-hand opener. It is basically made as a two-hand opener, but sometimes you want a one-hand opener. Even on the back side, on the front side, there's jimping on the steel. On the off side, you can put it on whichever way you want. You can still use it that way as well. Pocket clip is tip down, right side only, but it's a deep pocket clip. I don't mind tip down. I made a video way back when I started my channel about tip down. I had a bunch of knives that had tip up and tip down options on them, and I tested it to see how easy it is to deploy a knife that's tip down or tip up. It's functionally the same. It's no slower to deploy a tip down knife than it is a tip up knife. So, and you can say tip down is safer in some ways, but a lot of people are just, they've got their nose up about tip down, and they just don't like tip down at all because, the popular knife reviewers say that tip down is crap. So, they want to be like the popular people, so they think tip down's terrible. Now, there are some people that have legitimate reasons for why they think they like tip down. They hate tip down. That's fine. I just find most people, especially knife newbies, of which a number of people watch my channel when they're newbies, the snobbery about tip up is always better. It's just snobbery, in my opinion, just knife snobbery. We've got nylon liners in there, washers, and that gives it, a fair bit of, no, that's the wrong way of saying it. It's not a fair bit of smoothness. It gives it okay smoothness. It's not super smooth at all, but it's okay. And with that wrist flick, there you go. Your knife is out. Reasonable shape for piercing. How heavy is this thing? 116 grams, 4.15 ounces, so it's not terribly heavy. If you can find this on clearance at your local store for $8, go ahead and buy it. It's at least worth $8, but I don't think it's worth the $24.99 Canadian that it is for the standard price. I don't know if these are discontinued, which is why they're on clearance, but sometimes Canadian Tire puts stuff on clearance, and then they get a whole bunch more in. Like there's some knives that have been on clearance off and on for the last 4 years at Canadian Tire. It's just, just the way it is. The handle's fairly comfortable. Everything's rounded. You can catch your nail in places. There's a little bit sharpness on the liners in there. It's not made to any good tolerance or anything, but it's okay. I especially like it with this thumb stud here. You've got a spot where your thumb can rest since there's no jimping, and that helps it be a secure grip in your hand because of that thing. Yeah, it's okay. For $8, yeah. So, thanks for watching my little video. Thanks for liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. And remember, friends, always cut towards your chum, not your thumb. Bye-bye.